Hello again, my fellow pilots and my fellow aircraft maintenance personnel. Your host is always Haitham Ali, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Welcome to my aviation nuggets for today. Today I'm going to speak about the pitot static instrument, pitot static instruments. Or, inside the cockpit we have the six packs. Six packs are mainly used by the pilot as the main instrument to determine heading, vertical speed, altitude, airspeed indicator or ASI, artificial horizon or attitude indicator, and the turn and slip indicator. These six packs, everybody, three of them are pitot static instruments, and the other three are gyroscopic instruments. Gyroscopic instruments. What is the gyroscopic instruments? Attitude indicator, heading indicator, and the turn and slip indicator. Turn and slip indicator. They are gyroscopic instruments. They depend on the gyro or the gyros that do have rigidity in space and the precision advantage. And these instruments are called gyroscopic instrument. Gyroscopic instrument. Their gyro may be powered by pneumatic pressure, pneumatic air, or maybe electrically driven, and they are gyroscopic instruments. The other three instruments, which are pressure instruments or pitot static instruments, they are the airspeed indicator, altimeter, and the vertical speed indicator. 3 plus 3 equals 6 is the basic 6. Okay, so airspeed indicator, everybody, altimeter, and the vertical speed indicator, actually they are pressure gauge. Actually they are pressure gauge. Okay, how they are pressure gauge? They are pressure instruments, and their gauge is pressure gauge calibrated to measure the altimeter, vertical speed, and indicated airspeed. Okay, again, the altimeter, vertical speed indicator, and airspeed indicator, they are actually pressure gauge calibrated to show altitude, vertical speed, and airspeed, indicated airspeed. Okay, so the altimeter and the vertical speed indicator, everybody, they are static only instrument. They depend on the pressure line coming from the static port on board of the aircraft. Static port. So the altimeter is a static pressure gauge calibrated to show aircraft vertical distance. And the vertical speed indicator is a static pressure instrument calibrated to show us aircraft vertical speed, rate of climb or rate of descent. Okay, what about the airspeed indicator? Airspeed indicator is pitot static. Pitot static. What's meant by pitot static? It is dynamic pressure gauge. It need data, or it need pressure line from pitot and the static. Pitot is total pressure. Static is static pressure. Total minus static equal dynamic pressure. So the indicated airspeed or airspeed indicator is a dynamic pressure gauge calibrated to show indicated airspeed. Again, the airspeed indicator is a dynamic pressure gauge calibrated to show us airspeed, indicated airspeed. So the airspeed indicator need pressure line from the pitot probe and the static port. Pitot probe and the static port, everybody. Okay. Also the Mach meter need data from the pitot and the static. Pitot and static. Mach meter is the instrument that show us aircraft Mach number. Aircraft Mach number. Okay. I need to press on the altimeter. Altimeter, it is show altitude. Only altitude. Do you think that? I don't think so. Altimeter is a static pressure gauge calibrated to show us vertical distance. Why you say vertical distance? Because the altimeter may show altitude or height, altitude or height, or flight level, or flight level. 3, not 1, not only altitude, yes, may show altitude, height, or flight level. This will depend on the calibration or the pressure setting of the altimeter regarding the reference isobar. If you set the altimeter setting on the pressure setting of the mean sea level, QNH, it will show altitude. If you set the altimeter, again, if you set the altimeter pressure setting, isobar, pressure setting for the ground or airport elevation, okay, QFE, the altimeter will show height. And if you set the altimeter pressure setting to 1013, it will show pressure altitude. Or the altimeter will show flight level. Again, QNH, QFE, and 1013. Altimeter pressure setting may be QNH, QFE, and 1013. If you set the pressure setting of the altimeter at QNH, the altimeter will show us altitude. What is altitude, Haitham? Altitude is the vertical distance between the aircraft and the mean sea level. Second, if you set the pressure setting of the altimeter to QFE, the altimeter will show us height. What is height? It is the vertical distance between the aircraft and the ground airport. Okay, everybody? So, if you put the pressure setting of the altimeter at QFE and you land on the airport, the altimeter will show you 0 feet or 0 feet. Okay, everybody? But if you set the altimeter setting to QNH and you land on the airport, the altimeter will show you on the ground the elevation of the airport. The elevation of the airport, which is the distance between the airport, vertical distance between the airport and the mean sea level. Last but not least, if you set the pressure setting to 1013, the altimeter will show you pressure altitude or flight level. And this setting you put in the altimeter, or you set the altimeter on the pressure altitude 1013 after you pass the transition altitude. Because when you pass the when you pass the transition altitude, the important thing or the important is the aircraft's vertical separation, everybody. Okay? Okay. Thank you for your good listening, and always fly safely and maintain your aircraft very safely. Please stay tuned for an upcoming sessions like this. Your host was Haitham Ali, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Thank you and goodbye.